Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Patrick Liu. I'm a second year student physical therapist at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and I'm the founder of the Diabetes Management Group. So today's topic is going to be me explaining my story with prediabetes in the year of 2021 and the steps that I took to reverse it in 2022. Before we get started with this video, please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, click that notification bell for updates, comment your thoughts down in the video below, and share this with anyone you think this would be helpful for. Now, to get started, in 2021, January, when I was in my final semester at Weber State University for my senior year, I started noticing that I had an increased urge to go to the bathroom to pee, but there wasn't any urine that was coming out. So I thought this was distress related to me being in my last year and needing to graduate and going on through there. Additionally, I've also kind of noticed that when I was helping some of my friends move their furniture around, that I received like some small scratches and some bruises, but instead of it healing in the typical week to 2 weeks that I usually notice for small cuts, I've noticed that it's kind of taken like about an entire month before it healed. And again, I thought it was attributed to stress, slowing things down, being hyper alert. And then after I made the move to my Doctor of Physical Therapy program at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore in June, I realized that the symptoms weren't quite going away throughout the summer before the program started. I decided to schedule a visit with my primary care provider in Maryland to discuss the symptoms I'm experiencing. And the major ones that I've had was just that frequent urge to go to the bathroom, but nothing coming out, and my cut's taking a little bit longer to heal. I've kind of realized that these might be signs associated with diabetes, and additionally, throughout my life, I've kind of noticed that I'm chronically fatigued. So whenever I wake up in the morning after having about 6 to 8 hours of sleep, I would just feel groggy and fatigued out, even when I established a routine wake up and sleep schedule that I only get like that burst of energy for about 10 to 30 minutes before I just feel like I'm out of juice. And throughout the day, I just kind of kept on getting more groggier and groggier. I incorporated naps, but the naps were only a small fix before I felt tired again within that next 10, 15, sometimes even 30 minutes in, and just felt like this is my normal. Additionally, I've also had a lot of hunger pains or having that feeling that I'm hungry all the time, and fortunately that has been helped out throughout my life by having a routine eating schedule. And I feel like the only hard parts about it is whenever I have hunger pains that just felt like my stomach was being ripped out of my body, which was pretty awful, but fortunately I've found ways to manage those. But considering those 4 symptoms that I've had, where that chronic fatigue, the hunger pains, the frequent urge to go to the bathroom, and cuts or bruises taking a little bit longer to heal than they usually do as compared to with somebody else, I mentioned that, hey, I would like to get my blood work done and a urine sample done with my primary care provider. Unfortunately, they accepted my request to do so, and we found that I have prediabetes by having a 5.7% score with my A1C levels. And by having a 5.7% to 6.4%, that essentially determines that you have prediabetes. And instead of the blood glucose test after fasting for about 12 to 18 hours, depending on your provider and how they do those tests, they would determine how your blood glucose levels looks within the day, whereas for the A1C levels, they determine how your blood glucose levels kind of looks like throughout a 2 to 3 month period. So that was able to identify what my symptoms may have been attributed to with prediabetes, and I asked my primary care provider what steps I would need to take to manage and modify them, and they recommended that I continue my exercising routine, which I exercise about 3 to 5 times a week, and to adjust my diets so that I can have the appropriate nutrition to manage them. And fortunately, I took their advice, did a little bit more researching and digging by looking at the American Diabetes Association, the International Diabetes Federation, and talking with my roommates, and one of who has read a lot of research articles related to nutrition, how our body digests food, liver enzymes, and going through with that. And just compiling all that information, I was able to take a lot of steps to manage my dietary habits and lifestyle habits in that way to move forward with that. Now, once we fast forward to July of 2022, when I took my blood work again, I learned that I was able to reduce my A1C levels from a 5.7% to a 5.6%. So now I'm in the normal ranges. However, since it was only a 1% difference, I still have some concerns of, well, maybe, and my doctor has also mentioned this as well, concerns that maybe for my genetics, I tend to run a little bit higher for my A1C levels compared to others, and just to kind of keep that in mind and to continue with my habits that I've utilized to change. However, the symptoms I experienced of cuts taking longer to heal, as well as chronic fatigue and the urges to go to the bathroom, but not a lot of urine coming out, we were able to kind of figure out that I have overactive bladder syndrome. And for those other ones, it may be attributed to my genetic predisposition of being on a scale with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome on the hypermobility side. And that essentially means with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, it's a connective tissue disorder where you tend to have more mobility in your joints. So, for example, you could kind of take your wrist, and since I could bend it back like that, and I passed for a few of those tests when I was a bit younger, that shows that I have an increased risk for the chronic fatigue, which may be attributed to that. So essentially, like story-wise, the symptoms that you may experience that could be hallmark signs of a certain diagnosis, it's really important to speak up and talk to your primary care provider to get the tests that you need, as well as understanding that even though you have those other symptoms associated with it, it may not always be that certain diagnosis that you're looking for. It could be due to a ton of other factors such as your diet, nutrition, lifestyle habits, as well as your genetic factors and predispositions. For me, it was being on the spectrum for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, having a higher A1C levels, just genetic predispositions. Of course, this isn't confirmed because those testing are very expensive, and with my financial situation, I just kind of took the tests that were more affordable with my insurance plan that kind of indicate I'm more on that scale. So not yet confirmed, but just based off of speculation and the findings of that, just a general assumption on that. Now, of course, talk with your primary care provider and discuss the things with them before you go to WebMD to figure out, oh, I have like cancer or some other disorder that's on there just because you have these symptoms on there. So make sure you are taking the appropriate precautions for it, talk with your healthcare provider, and do the appropriate things that you need to do for your health. Now, with that being said, thank you all so much for listening to my story with prediabetes and how I managed it. Essentially, I was able to modify my diet, maintain my exercise routine, and fortunately, I was able to reduce my A1C levels. And I think the best thing that someone could do in these situations is to do the best that you can in modifying what you're able to. So for me, it involved adjusting my diet and maintaining my exercises, collaborating with my healthcare providers, doing my own research with credentialed organizations such as the American Diabetes Association and the International Diabetes Federation, and moved along from there. And with that being said, I'm very excited to announce that I have a lifestyle management program. If y'all are interested in working with me to identify what your lifestyle habits are and making a positive difference between that, feel free to schedule a session with me. And because you're seeing this video, we're going to do a limited time offer for you to have a discounted rate on your initial consult. So more information will be provided in the description of this video below and the comments down below. Thank you all so much for listening in on this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.